Hey everybody, this is Steven, and welcome back to the Big Block 402 channel. Well, it is, let's see what the day is. It's March 30th, March 31st. And we have 27 days till the tailgate throwdown in Newport, Arkansas. And I've got the 402 running pretty good. Got the transmission built, a big converter in it. And it's ready to, it's basically ready to run. And if you haven't been keeping up with any of the tailgate throwdown page, there's some really fast trucks that are going to show up for this race. So I've decided yesterday, I've decided to go ahead and sneak this 481 in there. I'm not going to tell anybody until we get to the race, but I've got my valve train set up yesterday. I just got to set the valves, but I got rocker arms and everything all set up. I just got to set my adjust the valves, and then it'll be ready to go. I ordered a SFI flywheel, some motor mounts, some polyurethane motor mounts, because I have stock motor mounts on the 402. So I'm going to put some energy suspension motor mounts on it. And I'm not going to have time to set up the tunnel ram. Let's see. Here's the tunnel ram right here. I'm not going to have time to get the tunnel ram set up on there because I've got to do fuel lines and I need a fuel cell. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of work to get the tunnel ram done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this dual plane intake off of the 402. It's kind of a high-rise dual plane, and it's an oval port. I'm going to put it on this rectangle port head big block, and we're going to do the best we can with it. Probably going to put an 830 double pumper on there so I can get a little more fuel to it, because all I have right now is the 750. And I've got two 750 Edelbrocks for the tunnel ram, but like I said, that's not going on right now. I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to put the dual plane intake that I have on there for this race. Now after the race, I will be putting the tunnel ram on it, cutting a hole in the hood, running a 1/2-inch fuel line, and probably installing a fuel cell in the back. And I've got to relocate my battery to the back, and I've just got a lot of things that need to be done to make the tunnel ram work. I think I'm going to put an electric fuel pump on there and all that. So we're going to sneak this motor in there, and we're not going to tell anybody until we get to Newport and make a pass and see how it does. I'm pretty sure I will not have a chance to take it to a track before Newport because the way my work schedule falls, I'm going to be working weekends again. So Newport will be my test and tune. I'll go in, I'll get it running, I'll get it going out here on the street, out here by my house, and then I'll test and tune it at Newport that day, and then start racing. So it is what it is. I want it to go a little faster, and I don't want to wait any longer. So let's get started on this thing. I've jabbered enough. Here we go. All right, it hasn't been that long, but I've got it ready to come out just about. I've got to get underneath and take the torque converter bolts out, the starter off, and 4 transmission bolts out. The only thing holding the headers on is 1 bolt on each side, because I'm going to drop the pipes off of it and then take the headers off, and it'll just about be ready to lift out of here. So I'm sure I'll get this engine out tomorrow. I'll get everything ready tonight to get it pulled out. We'll get it lifted out of there tomorrow, and I'll get the big block out of there without taking the hood off the truck. Done it many times, but we'll get this 402 out, get it on the engine stand, and we will get the front accessories off of the motor and get them put on the 481 and get it ready to sit back in here. And as soon as my motor mounts and my flywheel come in, we'll get that put on the 481 and we will get it bolted in here, start hooking it all back up. All right, and with the snap of a hand, it is the next day. So we got everything done to Candy Kane last night that we were going to do. The only thing holding the motor in right now is one transmission bolt. So what we're going to do is get the cherry picker set up, bring the truck forward, and we're going to hook up to this 402, jack up the transmission, take the one bolt out, and pull this 402 out. We're going to put the 402 on an engine stand and start taking the accessories off the front. Now I did find out that I may have an intake for this other than the dual plane. My cousin may have a Dominator single plane intake and a 1050 Dominator at his shop. When he gets back off the road from where he's at in Detroit, he's going to check and see if he's got it. If he does, then we'll go get the intake and the Dominator and put the 1050 on here for now, and see on the 481 and see how we get that thing running with a Dominator on there. And then later on we'll get the tunnel ram when it gets closer to No Name Nationals. We'll get the tunnel ram on there and get it going. But let's get the truck moved and start pulling this 402 out.
Fuckers, let's pull it out for Christ's sake!
That converter's a whole lot smaller than what I had in there. Alright, so see the starter's hanging. We got to get the transmission tied up to the top so we can get the jack out and get the truck pushed back out of here. And I thought we were leaking oil from the transmission, but it's engine oil, because looks like my bead of silicone here was leaking on the back of the intake and leaking down to the transmission. So it wasn't transmission fluid, it was on the bottom of the pan. It was actually oil, so the transmission is sealed up good, it's not leaking. So we're gonna get it tied up, get the truck pushed out, and then we'll get this put on an engine stand. Those gaskets there. Get this old 402 put on an engine stand, and then get these pulleys and stuff off of it to go on the 481. Alright, let's do this. Alright, we have the 402 out and mounted on a stand. Got the water pump off of it. I'm not going to pull the intake until I know that whether or not if I have another intake to go on the 481 other than the tunnel ram. And we'll find that out this weekend. Anyway, yep, the 481 will be going in Candy Kane next week. I think my motor mounts will be in on Thursday. If I had a flywheel for the 454 or an external balance flywheel, because the 402 is internally balanced, if I had a flywheel for the 481, I would go ahead and put these mounts on there and stick it in the truck and just swap these out in the truck. But I don't have it. It's been ordered also. I did order a SFI flywheel. So once the flywheel comes in and I get the motor mounts, we'll get that put on the 481 and we'll get it set down in there start hooking it all up and try to make it fire off and see what happens. Hopefully that engine works well for me. If not, then I'll have the 402 ready to stick back in there if something goes south. But anyway, we're doing it. Hey, we are back on the 481 today, and it's been about a week since we messed with it. We set the rocker arms, the valve lash with it cold, and we set it to a hot setting, so we got to redo that and take a little off of it. Close it up some for a cold engine. We got the flywheel mounted. We did get a new starter. I was going to buy an AC Delco high torque starter, but I went ahead and got a Power Master Master Torque. This thing says it's good for 14-to-1 compression, and so it should turn this 481 over just fine. We're getting ready to set that up. We're going to get it on here, set the clearance on the flywheel. On the starter. We're going to put a header up here and make sure that we get it clocked right. Something that James and James told me, Ryan Roberts with SSR Performance told me was, he said make sure that once you get it clocked the way you want it, to take these out and put some Loctite on them, because those will back out. So we'll do that. We'll get that starter set up. We're going to get the valve lash set, and we have made a decision to go ahead and put the tunnel ram on now and get it all set up for tailgate throwdown.
You can do it.
I was going to try to get a single plane intake or put this dual plane on it, but we're going to go ahead and get the tunnel ram on there. I ordered a bigger fuel pump. I ordered a 110 gallon per hour mechanical pump. We're just going to run it off the stock style here, off the fuel pump rod. I put a fuel pump rod in here. I took the one out of the 402, put it in here. And we're going to run a mechanical pump on the tunnel ram because the gasser guys do it all the time. I also ordered a new pickup tube for my stock gas tank because the stock gas tank pickup tube is only a 5/16 pickup. So we ordered a 3/8 to go in there, so it'll have a whole 3/8 fuel line going from the tank all the way to the carburetors, and that'll provide enough fuel for this engine. So let's get the starter set up here and check our clearance on it. Okay, got a header mounted, got the starter bolted up. I haven't checked my shims yet to make sure that's good. First, I'm just getting the clocking right on it, and it clears the header, but I've actually got room to clock it in a little bit more, so we're going to do that. We're going to loosen this up. We're going to bring it up just a little bit and get a little bit more space in between here to protect the header from the heat, or the starter from the header heat. So let's loosen these torque bits up and get it clocked in. Alright, so you're going to take a paper clip. You're going to put a paper clip in between the teeth where it engages. That's the amount of clearance you want there. And that's about what we've got. A paper clip in there. Yeah, paper clip slides in and out, so I think that engagement's going to be good. We probably don't need any shims on this one. Said I can slide that paper clip right in, and it slides in and out. It's not loose. It's not super tight, but I think we'll be okay. I don't think we're going to have to put any shims on there. That'll be good. I've got shims in case we needed it. So looks like starter being clocked here is going to be good. We don't need any shims. We got good header clearance, and we've got 2 bolts in there. This starter did come with the ability to put either your straight line bolts or staggered, and this block has 3 holes and my starter has 3 holes, and it's a high compression motor, so we're going to put 3 bolts in it. Couldn't hurt it. Just a little extra, security there. But anyway, I think this is going to work. We'll get another bolt in here. We're going to torque the starter down and take this header back off, and then we're going to get to adjusting the valve lash. Once again, once we get the valve lash adjusted and set, we'll throw some gaskets on the valve covers. We'll get those bolted down, and the engine will be ready to set in Candy Kane, and I plan on doing that. Today is Thursday, so Saturday. I plan on Saturday getting this engine set down in Candy Kane and get the tunnel ram on it and start getting it all hooked up. Won't take real long. I mean, it's a 64 model truck. There's not a lot there. So anyway, let's get this other bolt in and torque that down.